restraining orders. You can call them injunctions, temporary restraining orders, TROs, whatever your state calls them. Restraining orders are very limited. For example, if you don't like your coworker, you're not going to get a restraining order. You don't like somebody that at church, you're not going to get a restraining order. The law only allows you to get restraining orders or EPOs, emergency protective orders here in Kentucky, unless they are a family relationship. Or if you've lived with them. In other words, you're not married, but you've been living with somebody. That's what they're limited to. Now, let me just tell you something. In my opinion, these are abused more than anything else. Somebody runs down to the courthouse to get an emergency protective order because somebody made a threat, somebody said something, did something. Sometimes they're legitimate and they need to be done. The courts are wising up to this, in my opinion, and they're not granting custody based upon these. They'll enter an order usually protecting you from that person, staying 500 feet away, moving out, can't come to the residence and all of that kind of thing. But they're not going to give you custody. They used to be abused to where you start out the door with custody because you ran and got an EPO. The other thing about these, you got to be careful what you wish for. You might get an EPO against a spouse, and then you want to reconcile, but you still got a court order. These EPOs also then become domestic violence orders, okay? Because they start out as emergency protective order. The next step is whether they become a domestic violence order, which are felonies. So you get a felony hanging over your head with a domestic violence order. That's not going to be too good for employment situations and everything else. However, I want to stress this, okay? If you are somebody, particularly a woman, who's being abused by your spouse or your live-in boyfriend, don't take it. Get out of the relationship, go get an EPO, domestic violence order, because it's going to continue. One of the things that is very important is that EPO and domestic violence order doesn't protect you if they decide they're going to violate it and show up at your house with a gun. So, you need to protect yourself. That is a mechanism that between you and your attorney, you got to figure out whether it's worthwhile to get. But do it cautiously. So many times you see people show up at the first call of the case and you got the spouse saying, oh, I want to drop it, everything's okay. And I'll tell you right now, this is bizarre. Kentucky has this weird policy, these police departments around here, that if they get called to a house, they got to arrest somebody. I don't get that at all either. I guess it's the idea, well, if they had a spat, there could be another spat, and we don't want anything bad to happen. I think it's very unfair. Bottom line, if you got questions about this, call 859-DIVORCE, and Eric Grinnell can talk to you, or email me or call me at the address and phone number below. Thank you.